Hi, everyone. Due to popular demand, this week we'll be tackling the question of how do you identify your best growth channels? So, my name is Shuo Chen. I am a former entrepreneur, now investing in entrepreneurs and teaching entrepreneurship at Stanford and Berkeley. And today I'm excited to tackle one of our top demanded questions from founders on how do you identify your best channels of growth. And today we'll be covering the top 3 tactics for thinking about this question. But if you're curious to learn more about other traps to avoid and tools to use, please feel free to read more details in our newsletter. Subscribe down linked below. So without further ado, diving into our first tactic for this week on how to identify your best channels of growth. So, tactic 1 is identifying natural advantages for growth. You want to really ask yourself a couple of key questions. Are you primarily trying to grow B2B or B2C? B2B being business to business, as in you're selling to other companies. B2C being business to a consumer, where you're selling directly to your consumers or users. And also, you want to ask yourself how much existing demand is there for you to capture in this opportunity? And also, how much viral potential does your product have? Is there a natural word of mouth embedded in there somewhere? And then based on that, you want to determine where your product is naturally designed for distribution. So, is it best for product sharing where users naturally invite others while getting value? And here you're thinking about companies like Airbnb or Figma. Or is it best designed for social sharing where people want to share because there's a reward or recognition? And here you're thinking a company like Duolingo or We. Or are you in the bucket of existing demand where users are actively searching for for a solution? And here you're thinking of companies like Coursera and Zapier. And of course, based on your answers to all of the above questions, you want to match your distribution advantages to the right channels. And each one could be incredibly different. And so we actually have a detailed infographic that is linked in our newsletter below if you're interested in learning more. But whether or not you tackle this as B2B or as B2C, ultimately kind of drives you down a different path of are you doing SEO or are you doing organic socials or are you doing active product shares or are you doing product invitations. um, all of these are for focusing on capturing on existing needs, but then there's also another bucket of different growth channels like performance ads, influencers and affiliate marketing, or community content, or passive product shares, or earned media and public and PR, or even founder-led sales. And the second bucket of examples of growth channels are where you need to convince people of a need. So, depending on if you are B2C or B2B, or if you're tackling an existing demand, or if you're convincing people of a need, it takes you down a very different set of potential growth channels. And that leads us into our last tactic of today, which is really focusing on identifying your best growth channels by testing acquisition channels with a low cost approach. So you want to do things like run painted door tests, aka very simple landing pages to just gauge for user interest before you build out the experience. Just put up a simple landing page there and see if people sign up based on the way you're describing the product. And then you also want to test expansively using generative AI tools like using Cloud for copy, for writing ad copy, for example, or using Creatify for video ad generation. You want to leverage all of these AI tools to help you quickly explore different types of positioning, messaging, and formats to hopefully help you get to the best growth channel in the fastest way possible. So again, if you want to learn more about the different growth channels that might be the best for you based on your answers to some of the questions we've outlined, please check out the infographic linked in our newsletter below. And also for additional traps to avoid and tools to leverage, you can also check that out in the link below. And feel free to subscribe to our newsletter or our YouTube channel right here. And we look forward to hearing from you with any other top questions you want us to tackle for founders in future weeks. Thanks so much for tuning in. See you next week.